Hiya and welcome back to the BowledOver podcast for today's episode. My name is Sam and I'm going to be running you through some cricketing news, scores and a bit of analysis on the England T20 series. So let's have some fun. Let's start with the cricketing news. Jofra Archer is out of the England one-day international squad with an elbow problem, so he's flown back to England to be seen by the medics. New Zealand beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets in their first ODI. The rest of the world will for England and India, says Jonathan Agnew after their T20 series. And I think Elise Perry has joined Birmingham Phoenix for the 100. I think that's very good and will be great for the women's game. Let's do the cricket scores next. On Friday, in the final one-day international, New Zealand beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets, a thumping victory for the Kiwis. Yesterday, Afghanistan beat Zimbabwe by 47 runs in T20. India beat England to win the series by 36 runs. And South Africa women beat Indian women by 8 wickets. And today, West Indies are playing Sri Lanka. And South Africa women beat India women again. So lots of good play. No play tomorrow, but there's the first one-day international on Tuesday between India and England in Pune. And New Zealand will play Bangladesh again at the Hagley Oval in their one-day international series. So today's main feature today, is going to be, we're going to talk about the England T20 series. So let's go on with that. So before we start the analysis, I'm just going to run you through the scores in the T20. So in the first one, England won by 8 wickets. In the second one, these are all Ahmedabad, by the way, India won by 7 wickets. In the third T20, England won by 8 wickets. In the fourth, India won by 8 runs, so very close one there. And in the final T20, India won by 36 runs. So I just want to look at the power shift, really. If you see England win the first one, and then India pull back the second, so it's 1-1, and as they go into the third one, England win again. The thing that's caught my eye when I've been looking over these is that England's victories were very thumping, 8 wickets, and compared to India won by 7 wickets, 8 runs and 36 runs. I think that's very close, and it showed England put up a good fight, so I think that's quite interesting. So a few things for England after the series to think about. I mean, if we start at the top of the order, I think Jason Roy needs to get into some form before the World Cup, and I think the domestic season will help with that. A very busy English summer, and the launch of the 100 will be good for him. I think it might motivate him to get some good scores. I also think Jos Buttler, fluent as ever. I really think even if he's not in form, he can change the game and turn the game on his head, and I think that's very important in this England side at the moment. And then Dawid Malan, there's been lots of talk about him this series. I mean, I like the way he plays, but he's the number 1 T20 batsman in the world and average over 50. But I'm not sure. He takes a long time to get set. I'm not sure if he'll be able to keep that in future as the scores get bigger and bigger. I think he might be more of a one-day batsman, so it'll be interesting to see if he slots in anywhere there. And the other things that I picked out, Jofra Archer, he's just shown his class in the T20 game of bowling, and he showed he can bat a bit as well, which I think is quite cool, quite good, especially with the IPL coming up. But pity he's got injured because it'd been great to see him in the one-day internationals. India, I think their star players have been Rohit Sharma, definitely, and I think in the last T20, it was a good decision from Virat Kohli to self-select himself to open the batting. I think it was a good move, and he paid off with a nice 80-odd. And I think there is maybe they're trying out some tactics for the T20 World Cup, but I think that could seriously help. And India have lots of exciting young bowlers. I mean, we saw that in the T20, in the test, with Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar, lots of young talent coming through there. I also think that Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Kaur could really help India. They had some good scores on their debuts this series, and I think that they could get their places in the T20 World Cup booked with a few more big scores. And I think India just need to have faith in some young players. I mean, I know they've got the big firepower like Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul. Well, KL Rahul didn't play, but they've got so many good players. They just need to give the young ones a chance, because in future they could be the ones to shine when Kohli goes. Who are they going to look to score their runs? I also think England's spinners. England need a good spinner. We haven't had one in ages. I think Moeen Ali, he bowled quite well in the first in the test that he played, but I think we need him back. Adil Rashid, he bowled nicely, but going back to the test, we need a test bowler, but we have a nice test one, and there's some young players coming through it as well. I mean, England's batting lineup, I think there's definitely lots to get through there. I mean, to have Owen Morgan be able to come in at number 6, I think that just shows the class of their batting of Stokes. And then you've got the Curran brothers after that, Chris Jordan. Chris Jordan's catch the other night was amazing. I mean, the athleticism to do it and run around the boundary. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's a fantastic catch, one of a kind. I'd say maybe catch of the decade, but yeah, I'm not sure if he can match. He's a brilliant fielder, Chris Jordan. Took one in the BBL this year for the Perth Scorchers. Amazing diving catch out on the boundary. And Jason Roy's reaction's really, really, really good as well. And I also think that both sides, that there is some talk that could be a repeat of the T20 World Cup final, because it's going to be in Ahmedabad as well. And I'm wondering about the pitch, because the toss was very important. There was only one instance that series where the team who won the toss didn't win, and that was when India won in the 4th T20. And there's been lots of talk about the pitch, and I think, one, they do need to get on with it, but two, you can't just play on these iffy pitches, because one, it can get dangerous, and two, how are you supposed to play a fair game of cricket when the pitch bounces like a lottery? I also think that England might have got their team selection wrong, maybe, because they've sent some of their good players home. I know the rotation policy, but I think they could be really keeping their main players for when they need them and not sending home players that they could use that haven't played. So I think their rotation policy could do with a bit of work. And I think that the series has been good for both teams, but I think India especially, it will give them confidence going up against England. But I think these two sides are both sides that other countries will fear, even Australia, with how well they've played. And it just shows that in the World Cup, anything can happen. And I think England will be feeling disappointed that they've not won the series and give confidence for the World Cup final if they get there. But I think they'll be happy with the way they've played, and that's important, that they know they've done well. Well, thank you very much for listening. Lots for England and India both to think about there. We'll be coming back soon with another episode, but we've had a few ideas recently, and we're thinking of starting different lines, maybe a merch store in future, and we'd just like to know your thoughts and ideas at our Twitter feed, which we'll link in the description, as it'll be very helpful, and we want to know if you'd get them and different designs and stuff like that. But thank you very much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the cricket. See you in the next one.